Hell yeah, man! Welcome to Prescription Punk Rock. It's a huge honor. Sorry, there's a lot to talk about. But first of all, for people that don't recognize your face or voice, who the hell are you, man?
I'm Travis, and I play in a band called the Penske File.
Penske File, welcome to Prescription Punk Rock. I love the project. I love originality. I love something that it's done with art and the desire of not changing the thing, but creating something different. And I think that's what I enjoy about the band. But I love the chemistry behind you guys. But for people that unaware of the story of the band, how did that project started up?
So James, who plays bass, moved across the street from me when we were 4 years old, and my mom babysat him. Alex, who plays the drums, his dad and my dad were friends since grade seven, so we've known each other our whole lives. We started playing, you know, punk rock together when we were like 12 or 13. We had a ska punk band called the Bad Names. The Penske File probably started around 2010, 2011, like around the time we finished high school. And I guess we started touring seriously in like 2015 when we had our first record on Stomp, and just kind of been going ever since then, aside from the pandemic and all that.
Yeah, and I started the radio show in 2008, and I remember I switched to the radio that I'm now, and yeah, I received the CD a couple of years later, and it's crazy, man. I love that you took time for the first record, that you didn't rush yourself, and you did something that there's no compromise, and that you really want to do. Was it easy to write and achieve? They always said the first one is the easiest, but I'm not sure it's kind of true for everybody.
I mean, I feel like the writing and like making music is always, that part always feels easy. I think it's all the other stuff that sometimes feels difficult, like the things that go behind promoting records sometimes. That's like, but the creating of the music is always feels easy to me, at least, because it's fun and it's just what we do, you know?
And you know each other's. I mentioned the chemistry. I think it's hard to keep a friendship as we grow up, because there's a lot of stuff in our life now. So it's
Mhm.
cool to see that over the years, you fight for that, and that this chemistry, that special thing that when you play together, it's still intact. Through all the years, even after the tour and everything, because it's a huge challenge.
For sure. And I feel like, after the Salvation touring cycle, I think we toured for, 2-ish years on that. And we were doing about 6 months of the 4 to 6 months of the year touring that. And it definitely got to a point where, we were just working really hard at it. And the wheels kind of came off because of COVID and all that. And it was one of those things where at the time, I was very restless and disappointed and wanted to, keep doing things. But uh, in hindsight, it was kind of a nice, like, although we didn't really talk about having a break, it was kind of nice to have a break and like just do things as friends and not as bandmates as well. Like we would go camping in the summer, and we've gone on a trip recently together. And just to do like things as pals, like we're kind of, our relationship is kind of beyond friendship, being that they're my oldest friends in the world. It's kind of like a family situation. So it's really nice, like now that we've had that break, as much as we didn't ask for it, we're really excited and kind of have new eyes for just like all of the fun and celebration of being in a band together.
Yeah, you have to take a step back, and there's a lot of band that don't allow themselves to do that. But when you
Mhm.
do it, it's really worth it because you can look with different angle to what you've done. And with times, we know what we want and the direction we want. And I'm sure that for the new record, it was you know where you want to go and you know what you don't want anymore with the band. And the reality is that it's not the 90s where there's label throwing a lot of money. People, we all work. It's a passion. It's a dedication. Uh, for some people, we're crazy, but we love it. And at the
Yeah.
end, it bring a lot of memories and fun, as you mentioned. But how was the process of writing with the records, and how the pandemic impact the record, if it did?
So actually, we wrote all of this record before COVID happened. So we kind of wrote it as we were touring our last record, Salvation. We were just like between the road and home, and we'd often spend a lot of our time at home. Like even though we were on the road for 6 months, we would book out weekends and go into the studio or into our practice space. And we actually had I'd say we were about 90% finished recording the album when the first lockdown hit. Like I remember being in the studio, kind of doing some we were doing some backup vocals and stuff on some of the songs when we were kind of reading the news about like everything that was going on in Italy. That was kind of the first place it happened. And then yeah, it just when COVID hit, we kind of put pause on it, and then there's some issues with the mixing process that I'm not going to get into, but it just took a little bit longer than we thought, but we're happy that it's coming out now. That's for sure.
Yeah, so for you, it's like kind of old songs, but for the
Yeah, but
people,
it's,
it's
it's
new songs.
yeah, but it's one of those things where it's yeah, it still feels new because these are songs that we've never. One of the coolest things about like playing, especially in these like small insular punk rock communities that we are in, it's like one of the best parts about it is sharing the songs in the live format, whether it's you watching your favorite band at a small venue or playing at a small venue or what have you. Is like some of the like my one of my favorite things about punk rock is that connection between the crowd and the music. So in many ways I feel like the songs will feel new for us again, even though they've been around for a while. Like in our heads and our hearts, it's nice to kind of set them free and enjoy them with some other people.
Yeah. Yeah, because like you mentioned, you have to, leave it behind for a while. So it's getting back to something that it's new. It's kind of weird. It's a parallel, but it's
Yeah,
cool because you release it. And I think that's the point. It's so important when you could have, said we're done, with the pandemic and everything. A lot of band have, throw the towel, but you even if it takes long, you release it, and it create with the fans a kind of a need. They were waiting for that. So, and it's
yeah,
always better when it's long. So for myself, I'm really excited and I'm happy. But I'm not surprised. A lot of band, I've been in the same boat of doing all the songs, the recording, and then the pandemic. Some release it during that time, and some have said we're gonna wait, we want to tour, because it's kind of weird to release the records and not seeing people, the reactions, and what they felt listening to it, or the
yeah.
question they have about it.
And I do really appreciate like all the bands and artists that did release music during that time, because like that's what got one of the main things that got me through, was listening to music. And like as much as it's weird the industry and stuff with streaming and all that, like I was really thankful to have that resource of like endless supply of music at my fingertips, like to get through all those lockdowns, because it was like, there's so much music to discover. And yeah, so I'm thankful for the people who did put records out at that time. So we released the record on July 21st, and we play a festival in Toronto called Summer School Fest at the Bovine, and then we have some touring in September that we haven't announced yet, but one show is announced that we're doing Music for Cancer in Quebec. Yeah, which I'm really
Great.
excited about. But we're going to be doing some more shows in Ontario and Quebec in September then. and then we'll be doing more stuff at Western Canada and some stuff in Europe and maybe some stuff in America. Like we're a lot of things are kind of some things are booked and some things are in process and nothing's really announced yet. But the record's going to come out, and then I think we're going to start touring it in the fall, which I'm really really excited for.
He know more than he say, so you have to go on their Facebook and of course join the page and be aware because they're gonna release the date in the next week month. It's cool. Music for Cancer is such a great festival. I
I'm really
actually
excited.
host the first one
What's
back in
that?
the days. I host the first one back in the
Oh, you did?
days.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. When did it start?
It's a long time. I think it was the first edition was with Cigar. There was Mr. Brown Dave from some 41 got,
Yeah,
I
really
don't
good.
remember which project it was, but
Was
one
it
of his two project outside the band.
was it Organ Thieves or?
Yes, Organ
Yeah,
Thieves. You're
yeah.
right.
Those guys are like best friends of ours, Chuck and Dave. We did some of our first like Penske uh, shows when we started like on our first tour we ever did. We did our first like 5 shows with them. They're good pals, and yeah,
He's amazing, amazing human being. Such a great guitar player.
yeah, he's a shredder, that's for sure.
And he records so much great stuff and got really
Mm,
good at it. The Ang Van Hell release, the last records, it's a masterpiece, and yeah, he's getting better at it.
nice.
So, man, we're gonna wait in Quebec, of course, to see you. And like we said, go listen to the music. If you can buy, go. I think there's a website. Is that the best way to directly encourage you guys?
Yeah, like so our records up for pre-sale through Stomp Records. Our website is up there. Also, our Instagram is pretty up to date with everything we got going on. That's a good place to look. New single Chorus Girl came out last Friday, so that's on Spotify and all that jazz. And we'll have some more singles coming out soon before the record comes out. Yeah.
Cool. I'm curious, Travis, how music came to your life when you were a kid. How is that any people around you influence you?
Yeah, of course. It's hard to think of like hat because music is so around all of us. I can think of like the first times when it became more than just background. You know what I mean? But I feel like when in your early years, when in music is background, that definitely forms your brain and your heart around music some way or another. But I don't know. My first memories of being like, okay, like I need to listen to this song again and again. I remember like my parents were having a party or something, and my sister's 3 years older than me, and it was like one Spice Girls song she was listening to, and I was like, we need to listen to that again, and we're just dancing and like listening to it over and over again. Yeah, I feel like that's my first memory of being like, holy smokes, like music, whoa. And then I think like another thing, credit to my older sister was she got Enema of the State by Blink 182, and I would have been, I don't know, 1999. I would have been 7 years old, and I remember the same time she bought that CD, I bought Limp Bizkit Significant Other, but my parents would only let me listen to one song off of the Limp Bizkit album, and then I started listening to the Blink 182 album, and that was like the moment. I feel like if I could pinpoint a moment that sent me into the trajectory of absolutely loving the world of punk rock music, that like listening to, I can still remember like sitting in the basement and like watching my Discman like spin and being like, what's drums, what's bass, what's guitar, like, and just getting so excited about it. So I feel like those are a couple of the memories of music, helps to have like an older sibling for sure.
I remember I'm 41. I remember clearly when those two records were released.
Yeah.
Blink was everywhere on the radio, and it
Yeah.
was the first time because when they released Dude Ranch, it was a kind of intern punk rock hit. The radio start to play it because I think the bar were playing back in the days, but mainly in the Imov State really put Blink on the map for being like the biggest pop punk band of all time. And it's crazy when you think about it. Those kids like releasing that goofy records, conquering the charts, and you got like Limp Bizkit. And man, I bought a fucking hat. It was the it was the Red Sox, and I was wearing it like, and you fucking arrive with the same fucking look. So I like everybody will call me like fucking Fred Durst. And at first I didn't like get that Fred Durst was the guy behind the band Nuki that was playing nonstop. And then when I realized it, I have to switch my hat and buy another caps. And at that time I didn't have much money. Really pissed
That's
me off.
hilarious. It's funny because like I guess the like almost 10 years difference. I remember being like, I remember wanting that hat because I was like, whoa, this guy is wild. Like I had no idea what the hell. All I knew is it was like edgy and exciting, and I was like, I want that. I was like, that is exciting to me.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's true. There was such energy, the new metal wave, and then like 4 or 5 years later, everything like kind of slowly fall apart, and it seems like for 10 years it was kind of weird and not going that great for those band. But now everything has changed again, and they're still fooling arena. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane.
And it's cool because it showed that you have a really large background. Because when I'm listening to the music, I felt that they're really open
I
minded.
feel like that's something that's progressively true as we get older too. Like I listen to so much different types of music. I always have my favorites, but like, yeah, there's no such thing as guilty pleasure in music. I like to listen to lots of stuff.
And are you still listening to a lot of music now?
Yeah, tons. I'm very like active participant in like listening to new music. I kind of always have been. It's part of what keeps me sane for sure. So yeah, I've been listening to lots of stuff.
Cool. Before we leave, I'm curious who did the artwork for the records because I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I was really stoked with it. So there's this like I guess like collective called Quite All Right Design out of Welland, Ontario, and it's three dudes who run the company, and they kind of all collectively collaborated on it. I know like the one when pal Connor was the guy I talked to first, and basically just told him, I sent him the record and gave him like a few sentences on like just kind of the vibe, and kind of just let him run with it. And what they came up with was awesome, and we just had a little bit of back and forth. And yeah, we were really stoked on those guys and how they worked and how the record turned out.
It's amazing. Of course, people go pre-order it or grab it at Music for Cancer. Buy merch, help the band. We want to see them, and we were gonna wait for you in Quebec City. Of course, we love you.
Thanks so much, Eric. Good to talk to you.
Thank you for your time. Of course, I'm gonna keep you posted when we air the interview. It's gonna be available on podcast. We're live in the studio,
Nice.
and we're they're punkrockradio.ca that spin it on Tuesday. So
Oh, nice. Wicked.
thank you so much, Travis.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. I appreciate it. Have we met before or no?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And that's the mystery I've got. I think it was at the Flatliner show, if I'm right.
In
Well, I think it's a long time, maybe 4, 5 years ago. I wanted to check the flyers, but I didn't got time because I've
yeah,
got the flyers somewhere.
yeah, right on.
But we did, and
Yeah,
and
like I was thinking, but I just was like I couldn't figure out from where. Flatliners, which Flatliner show? I've seen them more than any other band in the world. Do you remember
yeah,
what it was?
I don't remember. Maybe at in Montreal or you never play with them.
Yeah, we played with them. Yeah, we played
Okay,
with them
cool. Oh,
in
that's
Toronto
it. I'm sure it.
out west.
Okay, cool. but
Yeah.
never in Montreal or Quebec.
On no, like only like at Puza Fest, but not like there's so many bands, so that doesn't really count. But
Oh, that's it. That's at the Puzza. I
yeah,
remember. But it
yeah,
was backstage when the Flatliners were about to play, I think. Something
yeah.
like that.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
But yeah, we met there. It's cool, man. And again, man, I'm happy that you guys are still here. And thank you for losing money in the name of music.
Yes, you got somebody's got to do it. Thank you as well.
Yeah, government like should refund you $1 for every beer that the venue offering. That would be a way to really save culture. We don't
Yeah.
take the beer, we're gonna take the dollars.
Oh,
But thank you. I had a blast. And again, congratulations with the records. It's a really kick ass record, really good, well balanced records. And Stump records are amazing.
thanks, Eric. Hope to see you around.
Cheers. Bye bye.